My sister and I both awakened to two systems at the same time. One was the elimination system, which could consume stamina to eliminate anything, while the other was the hoarding system with storage space. As her older brother, I felt sorry for my sister's frail health since childhood, so I chose the stamina-draining elimination system, and my sister chose the hoarding system. Who knew that a week later, the apocalypse would descend? Extreme cold and zombie hordes ravaged everything. I desperately eliminated zombies with the elimination system, and soon became a hero of the city. Meanwhile, my sister could only work as a warehouse manager in the rear. During one zombie horde attack, I fell severely wounded, and when I needed supplies to survive, I discovered my sister had locked the safe house. She looked at me coldly and said, "Why do you get to be the hero while I'm stuck being a warehouse manager?" When I opened my eyes again, my sister had already rushed to choose the elimination system. Seeing this, I knew she had been reborn too. I smiled. She had no idea what price the elimination system demanded. Using the elimination system consumed massive amounts of stamina. Even with my robust physique, I would be left as weak as if I'd suffered a serious illness after using it. And her, this pampered princess who couldn't even open a bottle cap, using it once would probably leave her bedridden for 3 days. The moment I opened my eyes, I heard my sister say, "Ethan, I want the red one." Like a child afraid of having her toy stolen, she quickly reached for the elimination system on the right. The instant her fingers touched the red icon, an ecstatic smile spread across her face. In this life, it's my turn to be the hero everyone admires. Then she looked back at me with eyes full of smugness and contempt. "Foolish brother, you don't know yet, do you? I've taken the strongest ability. In this life, you'll be the one begging me." I leisurely walked toward the abandoned hoarding system. "Chloe, are you sure you want that one? It looks like a combat type. Very tough work." Having obtained what she thought was a divine ability, Chloe was inflated with ego. She flipped her hair and said with feigned maturity, "Ethan, I've thought it through. You've protected me all my life, so this time let me protect you. I'll handle all the fighting and dirty work. That golden one is probably just storage space, perfect for someone meticulous like you. You can handle logistics? Protect me?" I sneered inwardly. She wants to turn me into her tool too. And then, just like I protected her in the last life, drain every bit of value from me. I ignored her and reached out to gently touch the golden symbol before me. A warm golden light instantly enveloped me. System binding successful. Host Ethan. Ability, Infinite Hoarding Level 1. Time until apocalypse, 167 hours 59 minutes. Meanwhile, having successfully bound her system, Chloe excitedly waved her arms at the air. The crystal ashtray on the coffee table vanished instantly. Chloe's face went pale. She clutched her chest and gasped for breath, but then showed an expression of wild joy. "It's real. It's really real. I have that power." She turned to look at me, her eyes no longer showing their usual dependence, but naked arrogance. "Ethan, I'm a bit tired. Get me some water, and give me the bank card Mom and Dad left us. I need to go buy some things to prepare." Her tone was like she was ordering a servant. Looking at this sister who had pushed me into the abyss in my past life, I slowly uttered one word: scram. The air froze in that second. The smile on my sister's face stiffened, and she even doubted she'd heard correctly. All my life, I had indulged her every whim. "Ethan, what did you just say? Are you upset I took the red system? But I'm doing it to protect you." I said, "Get out." I stood up and looked down at Chloe. "Also, this is my house. You have 10 minutes to pack your things and get out." "Are you insane?" Chloe finally dropped her act. "I've awakened the strongest ability. Do you know what that means? The apocalypse is coming. Only I can protect you. If you offend me now, I won't help you even when you beg." She was too confident, thinking I would still grovel before her like in the last life. I smiled and stepped closer to Chloe, backing her into a corner. "The strongest ability?" I suddenly punched the wall next to her ear. With a loud bang, Chloe screamed and crouched down, covering her head. "Your so-called ability, is it just making your few shabby clothes disappear? Did you forget that your ability can only eliminate, not create food? In 7 days, the temperature will drop to minus 60 degrees. Without food or clothing, even if you can eliminate an entire building, you'll freeze and starve to death." Chloe's body trembled. She had indeed overlooked this problem, but she quickly stiffened her neck and shouted, "So what? I can take by force. Whoever refuses to give me supplies, I'll make them disappear. As for you, what use is guarding a broken warehouse? You'll still have to rely on me. Is that so? Then good luck to you." I was too lazy to waste more words on her. I walked to the door and yanked it open. "Now, immediately get out, or I'll have security drag you out. Don't forget, this is still a society of law. I can call the police for trespassing." Chloe looked at my resolute back, shock flashing across her face. "Fine. Very well. Since you're so heartless, don't blame me for being ruthless. When the apocalypse comes, I'll watch you beg me with your pile of junk. Ethan, don't regret this." Chloe rushed into the room and haphazardly stuffed some clothes and jewelry into a suitcase, then dragged the luggage out the door in a fury. Before leaving, she glared at me viciously. "In this life, I'll make you die like a dog before my eyes." The door slammed shut. I leaned against it and let out a long breath. Step 1. Severed ties complete. Without this ungrateful wretch ready to backstab me at any moment, I could finally go all out. Then I took out my phone and checked the time. January 15th, 2026, 10 a.m. Exactly 7 days until the apocalypse. I listed the house I owned, worth about $8 million, online at a 20% discount. Combined with the inheritance from our parents, that made about $11 million. To build a doomsday fortress that could withstand minus 70-degree cold and zombie hordes, plus stockpile enough supplies for several lifetimes, this money wasn't even close to enough. Then I called the bank and mortgaged my company shares in current house. I also made calls to several private lenders, and maxed out all major online loan platforms and credit cards. Like a crazed gambler, in just one afternoon, I had $16 million in liquid funds. That should be enough. Looking at that dizzying string of numbers in my bank account, I felt no excitement, only urgency. Money was just waste paper. Only supplies could save lives. I drove the SUV I hadn't sold yet straight to the suburbs. My target was clear, the abandoned cold chain logistics park in the western suburbs. It used to be the city's largest cold storage facility, later abandoned when the owner embezzled funds and fled. The location was remote, with open terrain all around. Easy to defend, hard to attack. In my past life, it was occupied by a gang and became one of the largest survivor bases. In this life, it would be mine. I found the old man watching over the site and slapped down $20,000 in cash, telling him I wanted to rent it. For setting up a horror escape room for half a month, no contract, just the keys. Looking at the thick stack of bills, the old man smiled so wide his dentures nearly fell out, and handed over the keys without a second word. The moment I got the keys, I locked the main gate and walked into the massive underground cold storage. Though abandoned for 2 years, being 10 meters underground kept it cold and damp. About 3,000 square meters with an 8-meter ceiling. System, scan current space, I commanded mentally. Scan complete. Semi-enclosed underground space detected. Meets safe house renovation requirements. Activate space anchoring. Once anchored, this space will serve as a material transfer station in the real world. You can teleport external materials directly here, at will, and release materials from system space here. Anchor. Location secured. Next, to fill it, I drove straight to the city's largest agricultural wholesale market and went on a shopping spree. My frenzied purchasing caused a sensation throughout the wholesale market. A mysterious young man buying wholesale like he was hoarding for doomsday even caught the attention of market management. But I had my story ready. I told them. This was annual supply stockpiling for several large mines in remote mountain areas, and with the mountains about to be sealed off, everything had to be ready in the next few days. In this age where money paves the way, as long as the money was right, no matter how ridiculous the excuse, someone would help you make it work. As night fell, the first batch of heavy trucks loaded with supplies rolled into the abandoned western suburbs factory. After all the workers unloaded and left, I locked the iron gate again. The vast cold storage was filled with supplies piled like small mountains. I walked to the mountain of rice piled 5 meters high, raised my hand, and placed my palm on the bottom bag store. Instantly, the 50 tons of rice vanished into thin air. I closed my eyes and entered the system space with my consciousness. In that infinite white space, 50 tons of rice floated quietly in midair, maintaining the stacked shape from before. Here, time stood still. Even after 100 years, this rice would cook up as fresh as ever. Awesome! This feeling of having everything in my grasp, controlling it all, was intoxicating. But this was just the beginning. In minus 60-degree cold, without a heat source, this food would be frozen solid as rocks. I contacted friends to buy 10,000 tons of smokeless coal and diesel, along with solar panels and generators. With 7 days left, I needed not only to stockpile enough food for 10 lifetimes in this cold storage, but also transform it into a climate-controlled fortress that even a nuclear bomb couldn't breach. Just then, my phone buzzed with a message from Chloe. It was a photo of her and her senior Ryan sitting in an upscale French restaurant. Poor brother. After being kicked out, are you eating instant noodles now? Ryan and I are celebrating our new life. If you kneel and beg me now, I might consider sharing a piece of bread with you. I looked at the screen, a mocking smile on my lips. Eat up. Eat plenty. This is the last meal you'll ever have that could be called human food. I casually replied with 2 words, dress warm. Then I blocked her and shut off my phone. I stood on the second floor suspended iron walkway, watching dozens of workers bustle like ants in the belly of this steel beast. Boss, aren't your requirements a bit too much? The speaker was Blake, the city's most resourceful contractor, who now looked constipated, staring at the densely detailed blueprint in his hands. 50-centimeter thick aerospace-grade aerogel insulation throughout, lined with 2 layers of 20-millimeter bulletproof steel plates, and you want all ventilation sealed off except for 2 air intakes with NBC filtration systems. Blake wiped the sweat from his forehead. Brother, this isn't going to be cheap. The money's already in your account. $5 million advance. I need it done in 3 days. All materials must be in stock, and if not, strip them from other construction sites. I'll pay triple the difference. I turned and locked eyes with Blake. Only one rule. Don't ask why. Don't take photos. Don't post on social media. Another $2 million is hush money when you're done. Blake's Adam's apple bobbed violently. $7 million, equivalent to 2 years of his usual profits. You got it, boss. You're like my father. Since you're so generous, let me tell you, if I don't deliver in 3 days, you can twist my head off and use it as a soccer ball. Watching Blake's pumped-up figure walk away, I felt nothing. What I was building wasn't just a shelter, but an ecosystem independent of the apocalypse. I walked to the corner of the factory where a batch of special cargo had just been delivered. The huge wooden crates were pried open, revealing the dark metallic luster inside. These weren't ordinary steel materials, but high-voltage electric fence generators and military-grade blast-proof glass obtained through special channels. In the early apocalypse, the most terrifying thing wasn't zombies but human nature. When hunger and cold turned people into beasts, ordinary roll-up doors were as fragile as paper before mobs. System, store all these building materials and adjust their positions according to the blueprint. During the workers' dinner break, I lightly touched the heavy blast-proof glass, and dozens of tons of materials vanished instantly. Then under the system's precise control, seamlessly embedded themselves into the skylight positions at the top of the factory. As the last construction vehicle drove away, the massive iron gate slowly closed. Standing in the center of the steel fortress that was completely mine, looking at the room full of supplies piled like mountains, not enough. Far from enough. I checked my phone balance. Less than 500,000 left. My purchasing power through legitimate channels was exhausted. Next came the night of $0 shopping. 2 a.m. at the East Harbor Bonded Logistics Center. This was the city's largest import-export distribution hub, with tens of thousands of shipping containers stacked like building blocks at the docks, filled with premium goods from around the world. That night, I practically emptied half the bonded zone's high-value warehouses, until a slight stabbing pain in my brain warned me of mental energy overuse. I reluctantly stopped. Just as I was about to leave, a sudden roar of engines shattered the night silence. Several black modified SUVs roared into the port, stopping in front of a concealed warehouse not far away. The car doors opened, and a dozen tattooed thugs got out. A bald man in the lead was loudly berating his subordinates. "Move the stuff, hurry up. Dragon said the shipment must be moved tonight." The authorities had been watching closely. The boxes they were moving bore prominent hazardous material warnings. I narrowed my eyes and activated the system's long-range scanning. Scan results: TNT explosives, detonators, industrial nitric acid, munitions. My heart skipped a beat. This was a smuggling point for the Black Shark Gang, the largest local criminal organization. Looking at that TNT that could not only blow up zombies but breach any defensive fortification, I licked my lips. This is a gift delivered right to my door. With these explosives, I'll have my final trump card. Since I'd stumbled upon it, I wouldn't be polite. I quietly used the system space's properties to circle to the back of the warehouse, and placed my hand on the thin color steel plate wall. This distance was perfectly within the system's collection range. System, lock onto all explosives inside the warehouse and collect them all. The thugs moving cargo inside only saw a flash, and the heavy boxes in their hands suddenly vanished. The air suddenly went silent. Over a dozen gang members stood frozen, carrying positions, gripping empty air, staring at each other bewildered. Holy shit, where are the boxes? This is insane. Dragon, we have a problem. The goods are gone, all gone. The bald leader rushed over and stared at the empty warehouse, his expression shifting from fury to terror to existential crisis. Who did this? Get out here. He drew his pistol and waved it wildly at the air. By then, I had already used the chaos to scale the port's perimeter wall and vanished into the night. 24-hour countdown. The city on its last day remained bustling, no one knowing this was the old world's final twilight. The meteorological station issued a blue cold wave warning, forecasting a temperature drop of 10 to 15 degrees tomorrow. Nobody took it seriously. At most, they'd wear an extra layer of long underwear. I didn't go out again, staying in the western suburbs fortress doing final checks. All doors and windows had been welded shut, leaving only one main entrance. I opened my phone one last time to check social media. Chloe had posted an update an hour ago. Though winter is coming, my heart is warm. Thanks for the surprise, Ryan. The future is bright. Some people can just rot with their dirty money. I smiled brilliantly. I liked it, then commented, "Enjoy it while you can." Just then, the drizzle outside suddenly stopped. Immediately after, a ping-pong ball-sized hailstone slammed heavily against the blast-proof glass. Then came the second, the third. Hail poured down like bullets. Following that came howling winds, and temperatures plummeted. An emergency news alert popped up on my phone screen. Breaking news! Due to a superpolar vortex, global temperatures will plunge 50 degrees in the next 3 hours. All citizens return home immediately. Immediately. This is not a drill. The apocalypse had arrived. In just 10 minutes, the world outside changed color. The road surface froze over with thick black ice in an incredibly short time. A dozen cars collided, instantly bursting into flames. But before the flames could spread, the extreme cold suppressed them, freezing them in an eerie state. People inside the cars tried desperately to push open the doors, but they were frozen shut. Someone smashed a car window and climbed out, but the moment they touched the outside air, it was like all their heat was drained. Their movements instantly stiffened, their terrified expression frozen on their face, turning into a lifelike ice sculpture. The indoor thermometer showed the outside temperature had dropped below minus 30 degrees and was still falling at 1 degree per minute. Inside the safe house, the temperature held steady at 24 degrees. I took off my jacket, wearing only a thin t-shirt, and popped a perfectly seared piece of Wagyu into my mouth. Comfortable. Meanwhile, in a high-end apartment downtown, Chloe wrapped herself in her newly bought cashmere blanket, still shivering uncontrollably. Just now, the entire complex's heating system had collapsed due to burst pipes, and the temperature inside had dropped to minus 5 degrees. Though not yet fatal,